Okay, we are on guided notes question 12, the chapter 1 question. Make sure you've already done 10 and 11. I didn't do a video for these two. Just go ahead and do the link here, explore the sim, and watch this video. We're ready for chapter 1 essential question right here. So, our chapter 1 essential question, what we're trying to answer here: what determines the air temperature of Christchurch, New Zealand? So, write this down. Question 13. This is going to span multiple slides. So we know that the temperature changes during El Nino years in Christchurch, New Zealand. To understand why, we need to figure out what can cause a temperature change. So first, we're going to return to the sim with a mission. Our mission is to determine how to change the air temperature. For this mission, you will need to use the energy test mode. So in the top left, you can click on like the 3 bars, and we have the current map, the wind map, energy test, and surface test. Make sure you go to the energy test. Note, when you do the energy test, the initial temperatures in the energy test are negative. I think the default is negative 10 degrees Celsius. Yep, we see that right here. Negative 10 for the air temperature, negative 10 for the land temperature. And we're going to mess around with the temperatures of the land and the air. Notice you can change just the air, you can change just the land. So, the questions we are going to be answering. We have 13B, C, D, and E. 13B, under what circumstances does energy transfer from the land into the air? So we have energy here, and it gets transferred up to here. When does that occur? 13C, under what circumstances does energy transfer from the air into the land? So energy up here in the air going down into the land. 13D, when you add energy into the land, what immediately happens to the temperature of the land? So we add energy here. As soon as you stop, what starts happening to the temperature and what happens to the energy? 13E, after you stop adding energy into the land, what happens to the temperature over time? Where does it go? It looks like I accidentally did land for both of these. Let's change this second one into when you stop adding energy into the air. What happens to the temperature over time? Where does it go? And let me make sure that, yep, this is both. And we're going to change this one to air. After adding energy in the air, what happens? Where's the energy going? Okay. Or, nope, I was wrong. Let's leave it as land. So here, this one is asking when you first add it, what happens? And then here, after you stop, what happens? My bad. I forgot what I was doing here. It happens sometimes. So, stick with what it said here. Okay. Question 14 is a vocabulary term for energy. Energy is the ability to make things move or change. So this is a word we've had from several different units. Hopefully, we are starting to get that memorized by now. Question 15. Where does the energy in the air and water initially come from? So what is warming the air and the water, or the air and the land? Here we can switch between land and water in the sim, but where does this energy come from? The answer to this is it comes from the sun. The sun comes down and heats these. Question 16 is another vocabulary term, temperature. Temperature is the measure of how hot or cold something is. We learned a more specific definition earlier this year. It is the average kinetic energy of a substance, which is how hot or cold something is. If it's hot, it has a lot of average kinetic energy. If it's cold, it has a low average kinetic energy. So the molecules are moving slower. The last thing I want you to do for this video is question 17. For this activity, you will read and annotate the introduction and article set about the effects of El Nino. So if we look here at question 17, here's the link. I want you to summarize the intro, and then I want you to summarize B, C, and D, the 3 different parts. The Amplify instructions say to choose one, but we want you to do each of them on your own. That's it.